everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the Live Ones. It is Thursday, March 31st, 2022. You'll notice that these have gotten fewer and further between lately. We've been in a bit of a dead zone recently with the Super Bowl having ended, March Madness wrapping up, and the last couple of weeks of the regular seasons of the NBA and NHL wrapping up. We've had a lot of slates where there just really hasn't been a whole lot going on. As a rule, when you get to this time of the year, especially since the play-in was instituted in the NBA, most NBA teams are basically either in or out of the postseason, and since there's no first-round bye, teams really aren't playing with the same level of competitiveness they usually do. It's even more pronounced in hockey with the 1 point for losses in overtime. Teams in this point in the season are just trying to secure their spot in the playoffs. They're just trying not to lose in regulation, make sure no one gets hurt. And once you get to the playoffs, that's when anything can happen. It's really, really bad in the NHL this year, especially in the Eastern Conference. The 1 seed Florida Panthers and the 8 seed Washington Capitals. All those teams are separated by only 12 points. It's essentially just shuffling the deck chairs around in terms of matchups in the first round. But the gap between Washington and the 9th seed Columbus Blue Jackets is so pronounced that there's virtually zero chance you'll see anyone who's not already in the East to get in. Different story in the West. The Stars, the Jets, and the Canucks are all on the bubble. They can all still jump Vegas, Edmonton, and Nashville with a month left to go in the season. Amusingly, there are 5 teams currently in the West who are in the playoffs who have worse records than the 8 seed Capitals do in the East. The West is really just the Colorado Avalanche and no one. The East is just so stacked with virtually all the talent in the league. So long and short of it is, I know I'm not getting you the video content every day anymore. There just isn't a whole lot to seriously cap at the moment. I promise that's going to change come second week of April. We'll have a full week of baseball season under our belts and be ready for the daily action there. The NBA playoffs will start the first round and teams will be competitive again. For now, just make sure you're following us on Twitter, as usual, at Live One Sports. I do give out the plays that I feel have some legit action behind them. So what do we've got going on today? We've got 5 NBA games on tap, 5 NBA games on tap, 9 NHL games, and the NIT Final. There are a couple of plays tonight. Let's get right to them, and we're going to start with the NIT Final, Texas A&M and Xavier. This is just a solid no-brainer, folks. The Aggies finished the season winning 7 out of their last 8 games, and that streak included upsets against number 4 Auburn, number 15 Arkansas, and number 22 Alabama. It was actually a bit of a surprise that they didn't get an invite to the NCAA tournament, and their coach actually went on record saying that it defied logic. They will be looking to make a point here in the NIT Final versus Xavier. They have stomped their way through this whole tournament playing pissed-off ball. The Musketeers lost 8 of their final 10 games this season and went just 1-5 straight up against the 3 teams in the Big East that did get bids to the dance. The Aggies are 10-12 against the spread in their last 12 overall. Xavier is just 3-8 in their last 11 against the spread. The Aggies are just a much better team, and you're getting this line today of 4.5 because it's the finals and because Xavier did do a decent job of beating Cleveland State, Florida, Vanderbilt, and St. Bonaventure to get here. But it does not change the talent disparity, and it doesn't change the matchup. The things Xavier does well on their defense, particularly defending the arc, are not well suited for countering what the Aggies like to do on offense, which is just drive straight into the paint, score layups, and draw fouls. Give me Texas A&M laying the 4.5 points tonight. Over to the NBA, the Sixers and the Pistons with their second loss in a row to the Bucks on Tuesday. The Sixers dropped from the 1 seed to the 4 in the very crowded Eastern Conference. With 2 weeks to go in the season, they do have the easiest schedule out of them, the Bucks, the Heat, and the Celtics. They're only a game and a half back with more than enough time to jump everybody else again. Obviously, they're going to be playing motivated on the road tonight against the Pistons. Despite losing 9 out of their last 11 games, the Pistons have remained extremely competitive. In fact, they've covered the spread at a 15-2-2 clip over their last 19 games. They covered another spread in the loss to the Nets on Tuesday night. They lost by 7 points, despite Brooklyn shooting 55% from the floor. That Brooklyn team is going to be scary in the playoffs now that they've got their well-rested stars back. As per usual, the Pistons are one of the league's worst offensive teams. They're ranked number 28 in points per game. They're playing without their leading scorer, Jerami Grant, who is out for the remainder of the season due to a calf injury. They're facing a Philadelphia defense that ranks 7th in the NBA, even, I don't want to call it a downgrade because Ben Simmons wasn't there all season, but even with the downgrade on paper on defense from Ben Simmons to James Harden. So the Sixers, we've seen ever since the Harden trade, they love playing a slow pace to keep the opponent scoring low, and they're more than happy to sit on a lead late rather than go for the kill, many times to their detriment. Everything about this game screams under to me tonight. I think the slow pace the Sixers play when they have the ball keeps the Pistons total in double digits, and I think the Sixers lay back late against a team that they clearly outmatch. So give me the under 223.5 points tonight. Cavs and the Hawks. This one is another one that's pretty easy for me. Both these teams can score. The Hawks can't defend at all, and the Cavs can't defend without Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Atlanta has the second-ranked offense in the league, the lowest turnover rate, and the second-best three-point percentage. The over has been 9-1 in Atlanta's last 10 games against teams with a winning record, and 5-1-1 in Cleveland's last 7 road games. This spot, everything about it just screams over. No reason at all this total can't hit 230 tonight. Give me the over 225.5. Over to the NHL, and one of the games I like tonight is the Bruins and the Devils. The Boston Bruins had been one of the hotter teams in the league as of late, but they did take a tough 6-4 home loss to the Maple Leafs Tuesday night. Prior to that loss, the Bruins had won 4 in a row and 7 out of their last 8. They'd allowed just 2.28 goals per game in their previous 7 games. I kind of think we have to consider that Toronto game possibly an outlier. They just might have had an off night, honestly. They're playing a team tonight in the New Jersey Devils that they have outscored 10-5 in their 2 games against them so far this year. A team that is a dismal 8-25 on the road. This one sets up for a very easy Boston win. Take them on the puck line at -1.5 for the even money. And last but not least, the Stars and the Ducks. I'll tell you, the history of the NHL has been littered with more late-season collapses than it's possible to count. But man, the Anaheim Ducks have certainly had an epic one this year. On January 30th, they were sitting at second place in the Pacific Division, just 1 point behind Vegas, and looked like a lock to make the playoffs. Looked like their 4-year rebuild was finally coming to fruition, and then the wheels came out from under them. They lost an incredible 17 out of their last 21 games, 12 of those 17 losses in regulation, meaning no points. Now they're 13 points out of the 8th seed with just 14 games to go. Dallas Eakins has got to be gone after this year is over, you would think. Even so, the Ducks' offense has been virtually non-existent, scoring less than 2 goals a game their last 10. No reason to think that doesn't continue tonight as they face a Dallas Stars team that's right in the middle of the pack of the NHL defensive-wise and just held them to 2 goals in the first game of this home-and-home on Tuesday. Anaheim appears for all intents and purposes to have packed it in, and the Stars are actually still playing to get themselves into the postseason. It's Jake Edinger in goal tonight. He's certainly one of the better starters in the league for Dallas. I think they handle their business easily on the road tonight, keep the Ducks scoring low. Give me Anaheim's team total under 2.5 goals. That is my 5th and final play for the night. Everyone, bet safe, stay safe. Follow us on Twitter at LiveOneSports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. Have yourselves a great Thursday night, and I will see you next time.